All right, it's time to get a check on the latest health headlines with Dr. Gorfinkel, and we are going to begin with the latest with influenza and COVID and the vaccines and what's available.
Did you hear about the heart attack risk? We have to talk about the heart attack risk. So they go back and they checked 250,000 people, followed them for 3 years, and what did they find? It didn't matter if they even had mild COVID. If they tested positive, 3 years later, the risk for heart attack was twice as high. And if they'd been hospitalized, it was almost 4 times as high. These are massive differences.
So this is what new information, things we're just learning about when it comes to long COVID?
That's the problem. This is a form of long COVID. So as it turns out, our respiratory tract, our nose, our mouth, our breathing apparatus, it's just a doorway for the virus. And then the virus can go on to cause longer-term effects that are very serious. Now, fortunately, vaccines reduce those risks. Speaking of which, yep, we've got the Pfizer and the Moderna mRNA vaccines approved, and now they're available in pharmacies for people to go ahead and get. Anyone who's 6 months and over can get it, and keep in mind, it will take 2 weeks just to have immunity from those vaccines. Novavax was approved, but unfortunately, it's not available to Canadians.
All right. Moving along, Eva Mendes making some news this week, Dr. Gorfinkel. She is wanting more information about food dyes. She's speaking out about it, food dyes in breakfast cereal. Protesters actually gathered earlier this week at Kellogg's in Michigan. What exactly are their concerns?
Well, think about Fruit Loops, those neon-colored little lifesaver things, you know, blue, yellow, red. How do they even get those colors? Answer, by using petroleum-based artificial colors. And when they look at them in animal models, they find they're toxic to nerves, and people studies have shown it's associated with ADHD. Now, associations doesn't mean it's causal, but still, and it's also been linked to certain type of cancers in animal models. And this is why our neighbors in the European Union are saying, hey, we're not doing this. You know, but in Canada, we still are. But, you know, there are dosages, you know, little amounts are allowed. So the question is, should we disallow them all?
Okay, all right. As we head into the weekend, parents are going to be, that's food for thought. That used to be our
food for thought, literally.
Yeah, that would be our Saturday cereal as a kid. Okay, we saw this week, and we wanted to ask you about this. You know, when I come visit you, I actually don't. I mean, I'm just as a hypothetical. But when anyone comes to visit you and you roll out that paper on the table that we lie on, and it's so loud and crinkly.
The
and
crinkly, yes, medical paper.
Hey, kids like it.
Yeah.
We heard there was no purpose for this.
Yeah. Mea culpa. I feel kind of like, so the researchers put this stuff on people's hands, 6 volunteers' hands, called glow germ. And you know what? They could see using a UV light where people were actually touching. And you know what? It ain't the paper.
It was the outside of the paper?
3 times more, it was outside the paper. That's right. And so that's the problem. That's where the germs are, outside the paper.
Okay.
And so what I should be doing in my own office is defying the expectations of the patients I see, ditching the paper, and cleaning all the surfaces with a sanitizing solution.
Isn't this something we've learned from COVID? I mean, to keep surfaces clean? We've got all these antibacterial sprays now.
You want to accuse me, say it straight. Okay? I'm lucky to be in good company, but I have to say that study is likely going to change what I do, but it will take retraining on the patient's part, because you expect to see the paper.
I was going to say it's going to completely change my experience of going to the doctor. If I don't sit down on that paper and I get that noise.
Right. Or the paper manufacturer is just going to come out with a new model. It's going to be more like a tablecloth where it hangs over the side. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I better get on it.
Yeah.
And what about the white coat? What about the stethoscope? All those surfaces, right? We got to keep them clean.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we got to thank you, Dr. Gorfinkel, as always. We have another guest coming in, so we are going to wipe the couch clean.
Okay.